We're gonna rank absolutely every shoulder exercise from best to worst. I'm gonna cover my favorite exercises. That is just delicious, as well as the ones you should avoid at all costs if you don't want a shoulder injury. This is gonna be a controversial one, but I do not like prone rear delt flies. Then I'm gonna finish telling you my secret exercise that blows up everyone's shoulders I give it to, and you can do it at any gym. Let's get into it. Seated side delt raise machine. This is very variable depending on the machine. This one's really good because it packs you in nice and tight. What we want with a machine like this is constant tension throughout the movement. And when it's nice and tight and you're really squished in like this, you have that constant tension. It's gonna give you a nice big pump on the side delt. And as we know, the side and the rear delts are gonna be responsible for shaping our shoulders, giving us that nice round look. Machine like this, A tier. A wide grip upright row machine. My one gripe with a regular upright row, with our elbows pointed forwards, is the damage it puts on your rotator cuffs. When you go wide like this, that eliminates that damage factor and it puts the emphasis on the rear and the side delts instead of the front delts. When you do a variation of the upright row that targets the rear delts, it's actually a really good, safe exercise. Machine like this, that locks you in place and helps you maintain safety, A tier. I'm about to tell you my best secret for actually blowing up your shoulders, but before I do, you need to look at this exercise. See, one of the benefits of coming to a gym like this that has a lot of equipment is often the equipment is multi-purpose. I'll show you what I mean. We just did an upright row on this. We can now change and do ourselves a standing shoulder press. I'm a big fan of locked-in shoulder presses like this. I find that if I do standing military press, for example, it requires quite a lot of core strength and stability, which has its place. But if you're trying to isolate shoulders, a machine like this is gonna be great for that. I'm gonna give this an A. As I often say, having strong muscular rear delts is the secret to having big round shoulders. And an exercise like rear delt flies on a machine is amazing. Why? Because you can load it up super heavy, you can really isolate the rear delts, and if the strength curve is correct, you can make the movement hard where it needs to be, at the full elongation of the rear delt. That's why I'm giving a rear delt fly on a machine like this, S tier. Smith machine shoulder press. This is a very interesting one because it is an isolation movement for the front delts. Your side delts will help a little bit. And in terms of pushing to failure, using a machine like a Smith machine is going to be preferable over something like dumbbells. You can often push out a few more reps. You can get a spotter to really easily assist you. You can take it to the point of absolute failure. So in terms of front delt exercises, this is one of my favorites. I'm going to give Smith machine front press an A tier. Prone rear delt flies. This is going to be a controversial one, but I do not like prone rear delt flies, and I'll tell you why. A variety of reasons. Number one, it's very hard to feel your rear delt specifically contracting. If you're like me and you've got a strong upper back, when things get heavy in a prone rear delt fly, your other upper back muscles are going to take over. Your rhomboids, your traps, everything but your rear delts is going to help you lift that weight. Secondly, it's very easy to start swinging your way out of the bottom, and again, that takes the emphasis off the rear delts. There are far better ways to train rear delts than this. Overall, I give this exercise a C. Next, we have single arm rear delt cable flies. These can be good if you have a good mind to muscle connection already with your rear delt, but for most people, you're gonna feel the rest of your back taking over. It's like with things where you overload your back. You're gonna struggle to isolate your rear delt. It's only a very small muscle. So with something like this, I'd give it a B tier. Now we have a cable side raise, my absolute favorite side delt exercise. This one's perfect because it has a constant tension across your body. When you do something like a dumbbell fly, the resistance is not the same, right? It's a lot harder at the bottom than it is at the top. When you do something like a dumbbell side raise, the resistance is not equal the entire time. When we use a cable, we get rid of that problem. There's equal resistance throughout every part of the movement. I think it would be an absolute crime if I didn't give this an S tier. I promise you some secret techniques, so here I am delivering. My first secret technique is to not have the cable at the very bottom for a cable side raise. Most people have it like this, in the very bottom hole. But when you do that, your traps tend to take over because you're actually pulling up as well as out. What we want to do is have this around shin level. Then the resistance is in the direct opposite direction to the way you're pulling, because we're trying to contract the muscle fibers of our side delt, right? And we're trying to contract them to the right in this case. We want the resistance as far left as possible. Give that a try. We have here a very standard exercise, a seated dumbbell shoulder press. It's pretty good, targets most of the muscles in your shoulders, save for the rear delts. That being said, I do prefer more isolation exercises for our shoulders. We do a lot of pressing elsewhere, so things like your front delts don't need that much training in this manner. However, I'd still rank it about a B. Basically, you lean over a bench and do side raises one arm at a time. There's a few reasons why I like these so much. Number one, it eliminates the swing and the momentum part of a regular side delt raise. Number two, it's unilateral. So if you're really weak on one shoulder as opposed to the other, it's gonna make itself super apparent with this exercise, and then you can fix it, right? It's also very humbling. You're gonna have to use a really, really light weight here. That's why I'm gonna give this exercise an S tier. Our next exercise is standard dumbbell side delt raises. These are pretty much everyone's go-to when it comes to sculpting your side delt or the side of your shoulder. However, there's a few things I don't like about it. Number one, you can get away with a lot of swinging. Number two, people don't tend to actually understand the form of this exercise. If you want a full tutorial of the form, I have one of those on my channel. Click the link somewhere. That being said, most people don't get the form right. They're swinging out like this, their arms are too straight, or their arms are too bent. There are too many variables that mean that other muscle groups take over and you don't get a great side delt pump. That's why I'm gonna have to give side delt dumbbell raises a B. This is a barbell front raise. And to tell you the truth, it's kind of trash. That being said, I will incorporate this as a burner or a finisher to another shoulder exercise, but by itself, because of the recruitment of the biceps, the fact that you can swing so much, and the fact that you've got to use a really light weight, it's not that great of an exercise in isolation. I'm gonna give this a C. This is a single arm cable front raise. It's one of my favorite front delt exercises. That is just delicious. We've got constant tension on the front delt. We don't have to go super heavy, but we can push to absolute failure. We can also go beyond the point of the ground. Normally when you do a front raise, you stop where the dumbbells are in line with gravity, but because the resistance is against us, we can go beyond our normal point of failure. So we have a greater stretch than normal. We can contract against a fixed resistance. It's a good exercise. S tier. Normally when it comes to shoulder machines, I would say stay the fuck away from machines, go to free weights or cables. But machines like this are the exception. If you can get a machine that matches the strength curve correctly and has a nice, even resistance and smooth movement, without jeopardizing your rotator cuff, you can get quite a lot out of it. That being said, I would still rather use something like a cable or a dumbbell. I give this machine a B. And there you have it, as promised, the best and worst shoulder exercises. But if you remember, I said I'd give you one final tip that ties it all together and will help you blow up your shoulders, and that tip is this. Most people, when they train shoulders, are gonna focus on pressing movements. Shoulder press machine, front press, Smith machine press. Some people may even splash out and focus on some side delt movements because they've seen, oh, I've got to spam side delts to get big shoulders. The secret to big shoulders, this is what most people don't tell you. I'm gonna whisper it, okay? Rear delts are the secret to big shoulders. What you want to do and how you want to train is do majority of your work on rear and side delts and a tiny little bit on front delts. I would typically structure a workout 2 rear delt exercises, two side delt exercises, and 1 sort of front raise thrown at the end. The front delt gets a lot of training from chest and triceps. You don't need as much training on your front delt. Prioritize your rear delts in particular, then throw in some side delts, and then maybe if you've got some energy, do some front delts. If you got some value from this video, I make a video like this pretty much every day. Feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.